too many turnovers and all fouls, it's hard to get any kind of flow.
Well, there's too many turnovers in the first half.
Yeah.
The second half was pretty good.
First half, I think you scored like 1 out of every 4 or 5 possessions. What was it? Were they doing something difficult that kind of prevent you from getting in a good rhythm? Bad question. I'll take it back.
You're like a good lawyer. You know the answer already. We were not in sync offensively. We were not. And I'm really proud of our fight. I mean, you look and say, we scored 14 points, we turned the ball over 14 times, we get out-rebounded in the first half. We're giving offensive rebounds up to the guys we're not supposed to get offensive rebounds up to. But I mean, that's easier said than done. I recognize that. I mean, 2 really good offensive players. You know, I think the disappointing thing was that we had a chance to get it to 5. Like, it shouldn't have been 12. We had a chance to get it to 5. Malson misses it back, a free throw, and a three-point play. And then Whitey gets fouled, misses front end. Gabe gets fouled, misses front end. So we had a chance to have it under 10, because now, you know, we played much better in the second half, different game. If we're down 7, it's a different game. You know, but they, you know, when we made our runs, they answered our runs, you know, which is what you would expect a really good team to do. They got enough weapons, enough experience, enough poise. They run good stuff. You know, they're going to be hard to catch. And so I'm proud of our fight. Despite our struggles offensively in the first half in particular.
You scored on 11 of 12 possessions at one point in the second half and just couldn't get a stop, I guess. Where they were shooting free throws mostly, but
yeah, you know, it was one of those games where it was pretty physical, so they were calling a lot of fouls. You know, and I thought, you know, rightfully so on both ends. You know, they did what they had. I thought they called a good game that way.
What was different for Dev there in the second half to go from scoring just 2 in the first half to getting over 20?
Well, I think it was good. We got them going early. I think that was important. You know, I think that settled them down, and then we just started setting them up more, rather than, you know, we got, I think, a good mixture of loose stuff, transition, motion, and then we set them up. So it was a mixture of that.
You come out the second half, you're on 2 set plays, you get a dunk from Woodbury, and Devin gets a basket. Does part of you go, why don't we do that all the time? Or were they just specific plays set up for those first 2?
No, that was just really good execution of what we had run that same set in the first half, 5 or 6 times, and we were not as effective, we were not as efficient as we were. We talked about it at halftime, and they executed much better.
The first half at Purdue, the second half in Nebraska, the first half here. Why do these freeze-ups happen to this team?
I wouldn't call it a freeze-up. I would call it, you know, a really good defensive effort by a terrific defensive team.
you like what you got out of Eric May? You happy?
Oh, he was phenomenal. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. Man, what are you going to say about that? Guard a small guy, guard a big guy, play a guard spot, play a forward spot, offensive rebound, run the break, execute the half court, score, rebound, defend. The guy's fabulous.
What's kind of your message now? I mean, you got 2 games left. I mean,
My message now is no different than any other game. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to hold my guys accountable for what we should have or could have done better or differently. And I want to pat them on the back for what they did well. Like I said, because we lost doesn't mean we did everything horribly. You know, because we struggled in the first half, you know, they showed me a lot of character, which I knew there's character in that locker room, and I know that. So I'm very proud of them in many aspects of this game. But we have to a man, improve enough individually so that the whole gets that much better. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, if I said to you, we come on the road and we're going to turn it over 14 times, get out-rebounded, and score 14 points in the first half, you think it's going to be a blowout. You were right there. So that shows you what this team's capable of.
They came out and they had Oladipo guarding Aaron. Did that surprise you? Did you think he might be on marble first ball?
No, for this reason. I knew Oladipo would be on him at some point. And if you look at what they did with Trey Burke, they rotated guys on him. So I thought they would start Yogi on him, and then Oladipo, and then I figured either she or Abel. Abel played a lot more on him than I thought he would. But they were obviously trying to press up on him and tire him out. And I thought that was terrific.
I think this experience will help Aaron quite a bit in the future, fighting against this.
Yeah, he was really close to having a good game. He's probably disappointed in some of the things he did. He's probably, kid gets 14 and 7. You think, well, that's pretty good. 6 turnovers is very uncharacteristic for him. He got the ball to the rim a couple times and fumbled it or got poked. He's got to make a quicker decision. He's got to either raise up and shoot it, attack, or move it on. With all the pivoting and stuff, against a team like this with long arm, quick guys, is probably not the right way to go. So, that's part of gaining experience.
Do you address the postseason right now with the team?
No.
Do you think you'd have enough frontline guys to finish the game the way it was going?
I was getting a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to put Darius Stokes in the game. So I felt like we had another guy that I could put in there that would be effective. He'd have been fine.
You guys played Indiana, I guess, the first game of the conference season. What's the biggest difference now you've seen them from the first meeting?
I don't see a lot of difference other than I think Yogi is a little bit of a different player. He is. Then, ironically against us, he made some big hoops. I thought early on he was more of a facilitator. Now he's a big time weapon. He goes coast to coast. He can come off a ball screen and shoot. He can hit a 3, and that really creates problems because everybody else on the floor is such a talented offensive threat. So they got you all spread out. Watford I thought maybe a little tougher, and he's been impressive. Zeller and Oladipo. Oladipo, playing like the player of the year in college basketball, but I kind of felt that when we played them the last time. I don't think that happened. Maybe he got more exposure because of who he was doing it against. It was obviously the first big thing he's done night in and night out in this league. But I think Tom is also doing a good job of bringing his bench along so he knows what he's got. Elston was hurt. He gives him quality minutes. Abel, he's good. She obviously is like a starter. So that, I think he wants to make sure Hollowell, he's bringing him along. At that time, he had just come back, so he's getting his team ready for the stretch run and for the NCAA tournament.
One lost record aside, are you okay with how this team is going into its 30th game?
Yeah.
Why so?
Because I challenged this team, Mike, at the start of the year to make changes defensively. I felt like if we had any chance to win enough basketball games to get to the postseason, we had to play defense. And it's easy to look at the close losses and stuff like that, but this team is defended. This team is battle on the glass. We said we've got to rebound, we've got to defend. Now, we have struggled offensively at times. Everybody knows that. But they are trying to execute. They are trying to get better. They're getting extra shots up. But what's kept us in every game is our defense and our rebounding and our toughness. So I'm proud of them for that.
You had I don't know, 5. It looks like 5 turnovers in the first 4 or 5 minutes. Was it just not being strong with the ball, or defensive pressure, or just nervousness, or?
I didn't think we were nervous.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.